So hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Aaron, also known as Az or Azamon, as the channel suggests. So yeah, I'm just coming at you today with a rambly video because I've just found a piece of news regarding the crossover of a certain IP with another certain IP, and it very much excites me. So much that I've also already created custom cards in this universe for this particular crossover a while ago, and I even published the custom commanders on the Pass the Turn YouTube channel a while back because it's something that I've always wanted to see, and that is this. Magic the Gathering to get Warhammer 40K and Lord of the Rings expansions. So what I was referring to was the Warhammer 40K. Lords of the Rings could also be quite cool. I mean, I'm very much open-minded. I liked The Walking Dead. It wasn't really delivered in the way that we thought it should have been, and obviously it was a massive controversy at the time as to how it should have been delivered, etc. But you know, at the end of the day, it's just pieces of card. You just have to sort of get over it. So yeah, let me just open this web page up so I can see as you see. So yeah, Magic the Gathering to get Warhammer 40k and Lord of the Rings expansion. So Hasbro is taking big swings with its Magic the Gathering brand. Wizards of the Coast President Chris Cox announced on Thursday the launch of Universes Beyond, a new series of cards that will feature crossovers with other franchises. They will include the Warhammer 40,000 franchise and characters from J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth. So when it says Magic the Gathering expansions, I don't know whether this is going to be a full standard set or standard playable set. I think it's mainly going to. I think it's going to be more of a sort of expansion. You know, it says expansion to the main game, which doesn't really have any implications to the other formats. Maybe it might be silver border cards this time to sort of adhere to the fact that if you're printing unique mechanics with IPs on, it can't bleed over into Legacy, Vintage, Commander, all of that sort of stuff where people's fan bases are very particular about how you handle their game and their format. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is handled this time round after the Walking Dead controversy. Yeah, I'm very much excited because Warhammer 40k, albeit I've never really got into it, I've always wanted to get into it, and hence why I bought the Tyranids Warhammer 40k Codex, which I think now doesn't exist. I think you have to get another one or something because of the new edition. I could be completely wrong, but I just wanted to cycle through all of the lore and all of the awesome pictures of the Tyranid hive mind. So I'm hoping that we do get some Tyranid action in this particular expansion for the Warhammer 40k thing. Sorry if you couldn't hear me very well as I sort of turned around with my microphone there, so that's very unprofessional of me. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. It isn't really a universe that I've played with in a miniature game, the actual tabletop game, but I absolutely love the lore, I love the characters, I love all the races, all of the sort of armies that are represented in 40k, and I think it just could be really, really fun. So the partnership with Games Workshop is quite a surprise. The United Kingdom-based company had an incredible resurgence in recent years, with plastic kits in short supply around the world. It has also experienced a massive bottleneck in its card-based products. There's no word on whether Wizards will be lending its expertise to help resolve that shortage, or which has resulted in scalpers charging exorbitant prices for a set of cards online. So yeah, I actually experienced this. I wanted to try and buy a lot of these sort of what are they called? Battle? No, what are they called? I can't remember what the Battle Force, I think it's called. Like Tyranid Battle Forces. I wanted to try and buy one of those a while back when I was actually getting into the book, the Tyranids lore book. I actually nearly bought a Battle Force if I could have found one, that is. So yeah, I did experience the fact that they were just, their stock just went up and up and up and up during lockdown and during the sort of pandemic because people just wanted to sort of chill out and paint miniatures, which I don't blame them to. It's an awesome escapism. So yeah, Middle-earth Enterprises, formerly Tolkien Enterprises, gives Wizards access to certain works by Tolkien. That includes The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy's characters. Polygon has also reached out to Wizards of the Coast Games Workshop and Middle-earth Enterprises for more information. So this is from Polygon, this article, I might add. And of course, we've got it says here, an earlier version of this story said that Wizards of the Coast first Universes Beyond set would be a Dungeons & Dragons crossover announced in September. That is not the case, as the set will stand apart from this new initiative. That appears to have been misstated during today's investor call. We've updated the article to reflect that new information. So, as we know, the D&D sort of... what is it called? What's the D&D set called? Forgotten Realms is going to be standard playable, whereas I think this new initiative will not be standard playable. Maybe it's going to be its own sort of thing, and therefore has a new border, has a silver border, has something that says on there or represents on the card that you can't use it in sort of constructed play. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that, because obviously Commander is a huge format. It's very particular about how it's sort of interacted with on a Wizard's perspective, and it's just really interesting space to be in right now. And as we always knew, as soon as we started seeing these crossovers with Godzilla, Walking Dead, other stuff, we always knew that there was going to be more. And I think Lord of the Rings, brilliant. Lord of the Rings could fit into Magic the Gathering nice and easy. It slots right in there with the sense of the sort of fantasy genre. That could easily be replicated on a Magic card. But Warhammer 40K, that's an interesting premise. A very interesting premise. But as I said, I really wanted to get into Warhammer 40k. Didn't have the time or the money to do so, or obviously I couldn't source a battle force. When I did have the money, I wanted to get everything I pretty much could get my hands on at one time, which I couldn't do. So ultimately I didn't get into the miniatures game, but yeah, I'm very keen to see where this goes. So much being that I have actually created some cards for the Tyranids ages ago. So let me just switch to the list that we've made. So let me just add this on here. So first of all, we have the Red Terror, which is a card that I designed. So I designed a lot of Tyranid cards, albeit I'm not a designer, so they could be utterly OP and broken. But here we go. Red Terror is Gruul Hybrid in 3 for an insect horror 4/4. Creatures you control have menace, and you can pay 3 and tap it to give target creature you control cannot be blocked this turn. So it just replicates that sort of subterranean vibe. Obviously, the Red Terrors and stuff. The Red Terror is a legendary creature in the book. It is one of the characters that you can get, and it's one of those subterranean Tyranids that burrow underground. So I thought that would be good to have some sort of unblockable, some sort of Rogue's Passage menace effect on there for unblockable subterranean creatures. Next in the slide we have Tyran Virus Incarnate. I think this is just some sort of Swarm Lord type thing, or Hive Tyrant type creature. But yeah, this is 6 generic black green hybrid legendary creature insect horror. So if they did do Tyranids, I think they should go along the lines of insect horrors as their creature types, just because I love insects. They don't get enough support anymore. Tribal in general doesn't get much support anymore, but I think insect horrors would be a fantastic way of making Tyranids in this particular Warhammer 40k expansion. So yeah, this is a 4/4. It says creatures you control have infect, and then creatures your opponents control deal combat damage to each other as though they had infect. So pretty powerful 9-drop creature, but yeah, bit of a game ender, inspired by Triumph of the Hordes and what have you. Zontis, the Hive Mind Linchpins. This is a companion card that I made for Tyranid customs decks that I was making. So black, red, green. So the Tyranid colour pie, I reckon, should be Jund, because obviously it's evil, so it needs to be sort of black aligned. It's red, it's impulsive, it's chaotic, needs to be red, and green because obviously it just grows and spreads like insects, swarm style, just endless, mindless growth. So yeah, this is a insect horror legendary creature. It's a 2/6 companion. Each creature in your starting deck must be an insect, spider, nightmare, or horror. So again, plays on the theme that Tyranids are these weird creatures with lots of legs and lots of insectoid, nightmare, horror, spidery insect type creatures, and therefore you have to have only those creature types in your deck as a companion. And then it says sacrifice creature, tap type creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Activate its ability only if you control 3 or more creatures. Only activate its ability only if you control more creatures than that creature's controller. So it ices creatures at the expense of your own creatures, but you can only activate it if you control more creatures at that time than the person that you're icing, basically. Next we have Antaraxis the Swarm Lord. So this would be the commander for my Tyranid deck if these cards existed. So yeah, black, red, green, green, and 1 for a 4/4 with Death Touch, insect, horror, legendary creature. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 1/1 green insect creature tokens. Then search your library and/or graveyard for a card called the Hive Mind and put that card into your hand. We'll have a look at the Hive Mind in a moment. And it says other insects, spiders, nightmares, and horrors you control get +1/+1. So it's a big tribal lord that then enters, has Death Touch, so it can trade with anything. Create some tokens when it enters to represent the swarm as the Swarm Lord, and then it searches for the Hive Mind, which is another card that we'll go into in a second. This is the Hive Mind. So black, red, and green, green for an enchantment, and it says insects, spiders, nightmares, and horrors you control get +1/+1. So again, just buffs all of your creatures. Whenever an insect, spider, nightmare, or horror enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. You can draw a card, or you can return target insect, spider, nightmare, or horror from your graveyard to your hand. So this just encapsulates the fact that these Tyranids are absolutely relentless. They come in, they draw you a card, they come in, something comes back from the graveyard, they just keep going and going and going. The engine is very much the tribe, and that's the sort of feel I wanted to go for there. And finally we have the Eldritch Swarm, another sort of enchantment that you can grab with another creature later. So black, red, green, green for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep you get a 1/1 green insect horror creature token, and then you can pay 3 and black, red, green, green, and search library and or graveyard for the Red Terror, the Hive Mind, Zontis, or Antaraxis, and put that onto the battlefield tap. So sorry, this is the card that searches for any of the aforementioned cards. So it's just, I wanted to replicate the fact that Tyranids are, they work on the fact that there's linchpins in the army, right? Each creature has a synaptic connection to each other creature, and there are Carnifexes and Zoanthropes and other creatures in the Tyranid army that serve as a linchpin for the Hive Mind synapse, and it is all about connecting these pieces and making sure that these pieces do not falter in order for maximum efficiency of a Tyranid army. So I thought I'd create these cards with the ability to search for other pieces of that Tyranid Hive Mind for maximum chaotic efficiency. So they're the cards I designed as a result of these were cards that I designed before this announcement was even made, and you can see them on the Pass the Turn YouTube channel, my old YouTube channel. Well, it's still going, but I'm not doing so much on there at the moment because of the pandemic. Yeah, I'm very much excited for this. It looks really, really awesome, and I just can't wait to hear more news. So please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell notification if you want to be notified of any future Magic the Gathering stuff. I've been Aaron, also known as or Azamon on this channel, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace.